Good day to all of you. We are now on the topic deductions to gross estate, and this is the part 2 of the deductions to gross estate video tutorial. In this video, we are going to cover special deductions with train law updates. Before we proceed with the first special deduction or items in the special deduction, let's just discuss first the concept of these special deductions. These are deductions that are categorically permitted by special laws to reduce the net estate. So they have the nature as allowances because they do not actually diminish the actual value of the gross estate. They are deductible in their full amount or with limit as provided by law from the decedent's net estate after deducting the ordinary or original deductions. So these new deductions mentioned under special laws under RA 8424 and RA 4917 are as follows. First one is the family home. Second is the standard deduction. And the last is amounts received by the heirs under Republic Act number 4917. Okay, so in this special deduction, dati kasi special deduction po ang medical expenses. But now, under the train law, tinanggal siya. Together with the funeral and judicial expenses doon sa ordinary deductions. So, yun yung mga changes pagdating sa train law. Tinanggal ang medical expenses dito sa special deduction. Kaya, tatlo na lang siya yung magiging components for special. And then, i-cover na lang din natin dito yung share of the surviving spouse. Now, let's proceed with the family home. Okay, so family home, the amount is equivalent to current fair market value of the decedent's family home which shall not exceed 10 million allowed by the law to be deducted from the gross estate. So, the excess of the 10 million shall be subjected to estate tax. Before, nung wala pang train law, 1 million lang po ang allowed as a special deduction for family home. But under train law, okay, lumaki siya at naging 10 times higher pa siya. So, that's 10 million as per train law. Now, under revenue regulation, it defines family home as the dwelling house, including the land on which it is situated, okay, where the husband and wife or a head of a family and members of their family reside as certified by the barangay captain of the locality. Okay, so the family home is generally characterized by permanency, that is, the place to which, whenever absent for business or for pleasure, one still intends to return. So a decedent person is entitled only to one family home. Hindi pwedeng lahat kasi there are times na yung decedent is maraming bahay. Okay? So kung saan lang yung pinaka nag-reside talaga yung family. Okay? Ayan. So the total value of the family home must be included as part of your gross estate of the decedent. So the allowable deduction again, whichever is the lowest between the current market value, okay, that is declared, or 10 million. So kapag nag-exceed ng 10 million, ang excess niyan will be subject to tax na or estate tax. So by that, we have this example. We have here an example. So assuming the family home of the decedent has a fair value of 12 million at the date of his death, the following shall be deductible for family home under each of the following independent cases. So we have here, assuming na ang family home is exclusive property ng decedent. So yung value is 12%, 12 million, therefore, ito is hindi naman pagmamay-ari ng both husband and wife, so 100% reportable siya. So, ang magiging basis natin is 12 million but because hanggang 10 million lang yung limit natin, therefore, ang deductible family home is 10 million. So, the excess will be subject to estate tax. What about if it is a common property of the spouses? So, yung magiging value natin will be divided by 2 or 50%. So, that is 6 million. Pero ang limit natin is 10 million. So, ang deductible family home natin is 6 million. And what about if that is an exclusive property of the surviving spouse. So, kapag exclusive property yan ng surviving spouse, we have this rule na kung ano man yung mga exclusive property or property belongs to the surviving spouse, it will never form part of the gross estate of the decedent. Okay? So, wala tayong deductible family home for that. Okay, take note, ang deductible family home dito is 6 million ha, hindi 6.5. That's just a erroneous or error, okay? Answer. So, 6 million ang dapat nating i-report as deductible family home. The next deduction to gross estate is the standard deduction. Okay, so under standard deduction, we have an amount of 5 million as per train law that will be allowed without the need of substantiation. So therefore, the full amount of 5 million will be allowed as a deduction for the benefit of the decedent. Before, ang standard deduction lang is 1 million. Ngayon, naging 5 million na siya. Ayan. So, always remember that dati 1 million siya under the old NIRC at because of train law provisions, naging 5 million na siya. So, mas lumaki pa ang deduction as to the standard deduction pagdating sa gross estate natin. Okay? So, without the need of substantiation, i-deduct natin yung 5 million as standard deduction sa gross estate ng decedent. Next special deduction will be amounts received by the heirs under Republic Act 4917. Okay, so this amount received by the heirs is provided by a special law. Okay, therefore, kaya siya naging special deduction. The amount received by the heirs under RA 4917 shall be allowed as a deduction from the gross estate provided that such amount is included as part of the gross estate. So, magiging included siya as part of the gross estate, specifically doon sa exclusive property ng decedent. So, the following items refer to the amount received by the heirs which are not subject to any tax under RA 4917. Ito yon yung mga retirement benefits ng decedents received by the officials or employees of private firms, whether individual or corporate, in accordance with the reasonable private benefit plan maintained by the employer, provided that the retiring official or employee has been in the service of the same employer for at least 10 years and it's not less than 50 years at the time of this retirement, and these benefits is granted under RA 4917 shall be availed only once, okay, by an official or employee. So the benefits granted in case of separation of official or employee from the service of the employer due to death, sickness, and other physical disability or for any cause beyond the control, so it's involuntary, of the said official or employee is also covered by this RA 4917. Therefore, hindi siya kabilang doon or magiging deductible or hindi siya magiging taxable rather, kundi magiging uh, special deduction siya. Ayan. RA 4917 further provides that retirement benefits of employees of private firms shall not be subject to attachment, levy, execution, or any tax whatsoever. Since the entire amount of the said retirement benefits is not subject to any tax, ayan, some of the authors submit their opinion that such amount must be classified as exclusive property of the decedent to avoid double deductions, okay, and for purposes of computing the net taxable estate. So, that is the concept of amounts received by the heirs under RA 4917. So, we have an example here. Ayan. So, Mr. Willie resigned from his employment and availed or received 2 million retirement pay from his employer's private benefit plan. Mr. Willie invested 1 million in the stock market and used the other 1 million to purchase a car. Okay, in 2019, Mr. Willie died leaving the car, which now has a value of 800,000 and his investments with a value of 1.5 million. So here is our analysis. Therefore, the total inclusion in the gross estate would be 2.3 million. Okay, bakit yan? Kasi yung pera is ginamit to purchase car and in-invest. So, yung value niya is 801.5, yung current fair market value at the time of death. Now, yan yung magiging included doon sa gross estate. So, the deduction for benefits under RA 4917 shall be nil. The NIRC qualified the exemption of the benefits received as a consequence of death rather than retirement benefit received during the lifetime of the decedent. So, that's amounts received by the heirs under RA 4917. And the last is share of the surviving spouse. Now here, the net share of the surviving spouse in the conjugal or communal property, net of the obligations properly chargeable therein shall be deducted from such amount to arrive at the net estate. So the share of the surviving spouse in the net conjugal or net community property is 50%. Therefore, okay, conjugal properties, less obligation chargeable to such properties. Okay, or conjugal deductions divided by 2. So that is the net share of the surviving spouse. Now, the net share of the surviving spouse is not included in the net estate of the decedent in computing the estate tax. So after deducting the allowable deductions pertaining to conjugal or community properties included in the gross estate, yung ordinary natin tsaka special deductions, the net share of the surviving spouse must be removed. I-remove siya to ensure that only decedent's interest in the estate is taxed. Okay, so we have here an example for us to imagine or visualize how to get the share of the surviving spouse. Okay, so a married decedent died with the following gross estate and allowable deductions assuming under the property regime of conjugal partnership of gains. So, may erroneous data lang tayo dito. Sa separate properties ng decedent, it's not 800 but 1.2 million. And yung common properties, it's not 1.5 kundi 3.8 million. So, for a total of 5 million pesos. Na yung mga allowable deductions, yung claims against the estate for separate and common properties, unpaid mortgage on common properties, loss on common properties, we have also TPU or transfer for public use, vanishing deduction, family home, and standard deductions. Now, for us to get the share of the surviving spouse, kailangan muna natin i-classify, okay, yung format natin in computing the net estate before special deductions. Now, ang gross estate natin, separate properties is 1.2. Okay, as I said a while ago, may error po. So, yung common properties is 3.8. So, ang total natin na gross estate is 5 million. So, yung ordinary deduction, claims against the estate, 400, doon tayo sa exclusive properties, yung 600 doon sa common properties. Kasi nga, di ba, we are promoting matching principle. Kung ang properties nasa exclusive, i-deduct dapat siya sa exclusive. Yung claims against the or unpaid mortgage, 100 on the separate, 400 on the common property. May loss tayo, right? Loss on common properties, so that's 150. Transfer for public use must also be deducted. That's 100,000. And vanishing deduction is 200,000 pesos. So, ang total exclusive natin na net estate is 400, while the common is 2,650,000. So, saan makikihati si surviving spouse? Not on the exclusive property ng decedent kasi nga ang may-ari niyan is si decedent. But, doon siya makikihati sa common or conjugal property nilang dalawa, which is the 2,650,000. I-divide natin by 2, that's 1,325,000. So, kailangan natin siyang i-deduct itong share ng surviving spouse na 1,325,000 para hindi natin siya masama doon sa estate tax computation ng decedent. So, that's how you get the share of the surviving spouse pagdating naman dito sa computation ng estate tax ng decedent. The reason, to avoid na ma-compute siya or ma-include siya sa computation ng estate tax. So there you have it, the special deductions as well as the share of the surviving spouse. So I hope that you learn a lot in this video tutorial, and rest assured that I will be providing pa more videos for you to understand gross estate. So See you next meeting for our next video tutorial.